What is going on, Casually FC? Welcome to another reaction to a Chelsea game. I am your host, Marshalldbdx. I'm here with Scott, Real Chris, and let's get this show on the road. Make sure you're smashing all those icons. Leave a comment down below and send in your donations if you would like to. Check out the links in the description. But let's talk about this game. Graham Potter's first game in the Premier League with Chelsea FC. Did it go well? That's up to you guys to decide. I think it was an okay game. We got the result, which is good. We need a result. We need to start the beginning of the return to the Premier League with a W, which we did. You know, not in the best fashion, but we did it regardless. First goal was Crystal Palace around 10 minutes. Who was the one that scored the goal against us? Was it Edward? Edward scored against us, and then we tie it up with a beautiful goal from Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Controversial handball from Thiago Silva prior to that, and he makes up for it by getting the assist for that. And then second half, late screamer by Conor Gallagher in his second home at what is it? Selhurst Park is the Crystal Palace.
Yes.
Okay, I got it right. I know my stuff, guys. So Selhurst Park's Conor Gallagher's second home. He scores, doesn't celebrate, but that is besides the point. And Chelsea knack away a W at Selhurst Park. Liverpool draw 3-3. Arsenal won their game 3-1 to Tottenham, and convincingly, I heard, apparently. Look, Premier League is getting spicy. Tomorrow's game is going to be spicy as well. I'm looking forward to watching that, United and City. But today's game, I guess I'll start things off. What's going on, everyone? Big up Declared, big up Jose. Thank you guys for being here, the early crew. But today's game, that lineup started with Chilwell, Thiago Silva. Oh my days, who is the right center back? Fofana, James, and James is right wing back. Sterling as left wing back.
Back forward.
Jorghino. Well, it was weird. It was different. Like the way
Second half was definitely a back four.
Yeah.
Second half
was definitely a back four. But then we had Jorginho in the middle pivot, Kova, Mason as eights. I think Kai had a little bit of a roaming role. But look, Ahmed, if he comes on, he'll come on. We'll see. And then, yeah, Havertz and Aubameyang up top. I think Havertz was more of a 10 today in a sense. But overall, the performance, I think overall today, from what I saw, there was bright patches, right? Like, obviously, we didn't start off the game well at all. Like, that was a shitty way to start the game. Defensively, we're still looking a little dodgy. Fofana very lazy on that run on behind or run with the defender. In my opinion, if Fofana put in a little bit more effort, a little more haste to his pace, I think we probably would have gotten it and it would have been avoided and stuff. Maybe, who knows? I'm just speculating, right? And then where was I going? Fuck, I'm losing my train of thought, guys. I'm sorry. But yeah, I guess let's start with the defense today. Let's just start off with that handball that Thiago Silva had, which is probably the most controversial part of the game. I think it's safe to say that most of us probably agree that it was a handball and it should have been, well, it was definitely a handball, but it should have been a red. But do any of you guys think that maybe it was a foul on Thiago Silva to begin with? Scott?
I don't think so. Like, I can understand why people would say it is a foul, but I don't think that was enough. I think his touch let him down, like, in the first place. Like, the reason that IE was able to get him so quick, because I don't think his touch was all there. Like, it was decent, but it wasn't good enough for him to then release it quickly. He had to take another touch, and that's when it all went wrong. But yeah, I think it was a red card, personally. I think we got away with that one. I think that was, from memory, the only real thing the referee got wrong, to be fair. Like, I'll be real, I think he had a decent game. I think that he kept things under control for the most part. Like, especially considering how feisty he got in areas, you know, with Zaha and James at one point, Mount and Elise at another point. I think the referee actually did a decent job. Like, I think I don't really have too many complaints about how he did, apart from like I think we got lucky with the red card.
So, and you know, me and Chris were going back and forth about this. My argument about the red card, like overall, I mean the Thiago Silva handball. Overall, I think he probably should have gotten sent off. If I had to put my bias aside, I think if it was another team, I probably would have said like, "Hey, there's the intention there, right?" But, Kai, what's going on, brother? Let me know if you want me to send you the link, brother. So with that handball, you can make the argument that the initial contact wasn't intentional, and at that point in the game, since it wasn't intentional, you know, it still affects the play, right? Now the second half of that play where he does push it away,
he was playing volleyball in that second one. He hit it.
He
away.
was, but you could argue that the play was already ruined from the initial touch. So maybe
they may have looked
initial
at like
unintentional touch.
They may have like said, okay, it's already a foul before like that second hand ball, but
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But then again, they could have played advantage because he would have continued the ball, and he obviously stopped. He would have stopped anyway because he hit it way too hard. You know what? Like to me, it's karma anyway. Like that guy in the box hit Kepa in the face with his arm, so I say it's karma for that. But like, yeah, it was a red card though. Like I honestly, when it's going to VAR, I thought, yeah, 100% red. Like how can they not say it's a red card when it clearly is? He hits it away with his hand, so yeah, like I think most Chelsea fans know it's a red, but still take it. Like we've had shit done to us as well, so it's what it is.
This season, when it comes to VAR and checking that stuff, it's been very dodgy. I'm not gonna lie. Kai, welcome to the stream, brother.
What's up?
Yeah, Kai, what did you think about that Thiago Silva play, man? Was it a red card? Should it have been a red card to you?
I think it should have been a foul before it was a red card, to be honest. Should have been a foul on him.
Okay.
Would you say it's advantage, Joe, if it's a foul because they're still playing on? Or foul on Thiago?
I think it was a foul on him. They should have stopped the game then. But you know how referees are, man. But
yeah.
But it was if we take away the fact that I think it's a foul, I think he did kind of reach for the ball. But I think he assumed that it's the foul was given. That's what I think. I think he thought the foul was given, so he tried to get the ball back and like keep playing.
Yeah, maybe.
I think so too. I think he was so confident that it was a foul that's why he reached for the ball. But I mean, maybe that was the argument that he had with the ref. Maybe that's why the ref didn't even bother going back to VAR. You know?
Yeah.
Because the ref never went to VAR. He just talked to the guys, and even VAR decided it wasn't a red card. Which, again, VAR has been fucking dodgy. I don't know who the referee was in VAR. So I mean,
I don't get it. They get to watch it backwards. They get to rewatch and they still get it wrong. I don't get it, man.
Yeah, I don't get that.
I said it, like if you look at I know it's going back to a Tottenham game, but they watched Cucurella's hair get pulled back and didn't call it a foul. So to me, VAR should just be scrapped.
We missed Cucurella today. I don't know if you guys talked about it yet. Like, I love what Chilwell can do like with goals, but as far as like contributing to play, keeping the ball, finding that space, and the defensive part of the game, I think Cucurella is head and shoulders above him, man.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up because I did want to talk about the defense, and Chilwell was in that as well. The thing with Chilwell is I think that international break where Southgate called him up and he did nothing was just a waste of time for him and his form. Like he could have been at Chelsea training and getting used to Graham Potter and all that stuff. I think coming into this team, he was playing in the beginning, that first half, he was playing as a left center back, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. And it was just kind of like he didn't know what the hell was going on, what to do exactly. Like this is the first time he's playing. Was it the first game he played under Graham Potter? I don't remember.
I think the second one.
He played at Salzburg, right?
For me, he's just not dynamic enough. I just think he's not dynamic enough. Whereas I think Cucurella is. I think Cucurella's 1v1 defending is better than his is.
Yeah.
So Cucurella can afford to push up a bit more from that left centre back and be that kind of like hybrid centre back fullback role that he did against Salzburg because he's 1v1 better than Chilwell. So he knows if he gets caught a little bit and has to defend 1v1, he's fine. Because more often than not, he'll be able to get there. And it means that he then has the confidence to push higher up, and it gives Sterling, who should have been on the left in that first half. I don't understand why he wasn't.
I don't understand.
Like he'll give Sterling like help and like support him, but like I don't really know what was going on from us attacking wise in that first half. Bar the goal, which was a very good goal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that Auba goal. Oh my days.
Yeah, I think are you guys been a fan of seeing, you know, Sterling play as a left wing
No.
back lately?
No,
The thing
I'm
is,
not a fan of the whole way you play. Go ahead, Scott. Go ahead, sir.
I was
Sorry, man.
the thing is though, like positionally, he is technically a wing back, but in the way that Potter wants us playing, he's not a wing back in terms of how he plays. The problem comes, and this is why I think we end up changing to a back four, is if you don't have Cucurella there, your left centre back needs to be dynamic enough to support him, and we don't have anyone else. Like none of our centre backs are dynamic enough to do that. I think the only one that maybe could have been, and people hate me for this, is now on loan at Monaco. He was like say how, like what you want about how bad he was or about how average he is, but Malang Sarr's probably the only centre back we've got, and it helps him being left-footed. That could have done that Cucurella job.
How about Koulibaly though? Like,
he can't get forward enough because he gets caught out too often. We've seen it.
What
Like
happened to him? Was he injured?
I said this on Lewis's stream the other day. Like
he's not injured. He's fit.
Everything that Cucurella does defensively to support that wing back, he can do. He can't do the attacking stuff. So it means on attacks, Sterling will be isolated. Yeah. That's why, like, for me, if Cucurella isn't in this team, a back four is the only way forward because we've got no one else who can do that job that he does.
I mean, I think that's a fair assessment. Like I said, I think Chilwell could do it. It's just a matter of, like, we saw how Chilwell, you know, came into this team.
Not as well. I don't think he can do it as well as Cucurella. I don't think that's a shame for Chilwell. I just think Cucurella is a very, very good left back.
And I don't think anyone here is saying that, you know, Chilwell should be benched or that he's a terrible player. I just think, for me personally, I think it's one of those things that he just needs time to adapt into a left center back position where he's so used to just bombing forward and not being as defensively reliable when it comes to playing that left wing back position under Tuchel, right? And even under Graham Potter, we saw at Salzburg. But I think for him, yeah, I agree with what you guys are saying. It works better when Cucurella and Chilwell are there, or even see, like I do like Sterling at left wing back. I feel like with Sterling at left wing back, it gives him more permission to bomb forward and move forward and look up and make plays and stuff. Whereas I feel like when we were playing him at left wing or, you know, left forward, whatever, under Tuchel, he was more isolated.
But
sometimes.
What Sterling played today? What did he play as today? Because like we had
today, that first half, I think he was more of a left wing, right? And then in the second half, he looked like he had more of a free role. Like he was left, he was right, he was rotating around, you know.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of things that I would change this team, to be honest. Like that, our lineup, the way we played. You know, I just think Havertz and Mount don't offer anything. They just hinder the way we play. The way that they make decisions is not sustainable for a club like Chelsea going forward. Like it's too slow. It's not gonna work.
Let's discuss that then. I think overall, Mount and Havertz improved today. I'm using that word specifically. This was one of the better games they had.
I disagree. But go ahead.
I mean, it wasn't. I don't think this was as bad as Dinamo, right? I think Zagreb definitely, it was one of their worst performances. I think Salzburg, they played a little better, and I think today, at least for Havertz, because you know I like Havertz, so I paid attention to him.
I like him. I used to like him too, but I don't think that's an excuse for him to play at the way he does for the club level of Chelsea. You know, like I just think it's we are trying to, because we like them, we're trying to kind of fit them into a role, and while we're doing that, we're being left behind in the way we play. Like look how many of the players that Arsenal fans used to like they had to leave behind for them to be at the level they are now. And I think there's gonna come a place and time where we're gonna have to make those adjustments with Jorghino, with Mount and Havertz, because I truly believe, like now, for a while, like I was okay with Jorghino for a while, but I truly believe that I can finally see what people think that there's a flaws in his game, and I can finally see that those three are an issue at Chelsea. They're not at the right level for where we want to go from here. But that's just my opinion, right? Everybody have their own.
I can hear Scott clenching his fist when I talk about Havertz. but
I know it's not even that. I think on the midfield thing and like on the whole thing of that, I was thinking about it after the game today, and I'll be completely real. Due to a number of reasons, I think there's only one midfielder in our entire first team squad that is good enough to be a starter for us anytime soon, and he's played a grand total of 0 minutes at this football club. Like
Zachariah?
I'm talking Carney.
Oh, Carney. Okay.
I don't think anyone, due to a number of reasons, I don't think anyone else can be a starter for, like I said, different reasons. I don't think Mount and Havertz, I'll include Havertz in this, are good enough going forward. I don't think Kante and Kovacic you can rely on because of injuries. You can't rely on them being consistent starters because they're injuries. Jorghino, you can't rely on being a consistent starter because of, like, some games he works because of like just the way the game's going or the team we're facing. But games like this, it doesn't work, especially when his midfield partners don't help him. And then Zakari, we've seen nothing of, so I can't determine whether he's good enough to be a long-term starter.
Zakari is a panic buy. Like
Well, it seems like
and then Ruben and Gallagher, to me,
whatever.
I think Gallagher played well when he came on, but both of them strikers bench options. There's no one we have apart from a guy, for me. Like, I like Carney because I like the profile and I like what I've seen.
I haven't seen him play, so I can't really judge. But
at Villa, like, there's no other midfielder that I see that we can consistently rely on as being a first team starter, and that's bad. That's a problem.
See, but the thing is, like, you know, coming back to Mount and Havertz, like, I agree with what Kai's saying. They're definitely not at the level that they need to be a starter at Chelsea. I agree with that 100%. Even today's game, not good enough. I get that. What I'm just saying is that I think we're finally starting to see both of them. Well, I can at least say this for Kai Havertz. I don't know, maybe Mount, you could argue too, but I'm starting to see them both trying to finally adapt and look more involved with the game. At least Havertz today, you saw the moments where he was finding the pockets of space, getting good link up. Yeah, and again, I'm emphasizing it's not good enough, but it is an improvement. It is bare, exactly. It's bare minimum, but they weren't even doing the bare minimum before.
You know what it's like, Marshall? It's like you're giving like you be an employer and you're giving an employee like credit for coming to work, you know, trying, you know, turning on the computer, you know. Yeah,
it is like that. It pretty much is like, at least he didn't no call no show today, you know, which has been happening a lot, you know. At least I didn't have to pay for his lunch today, like stuff like that. But it just makes me optimistic in a sense, because I think for Havertz to work in this team, he needs to be given more of a free role. Because when you saw how he played for Germany, and I don't know if you guys watched, I only saw a few highlights here and there, but
Marshall,
he's more free, you know?
Yeah, but Marshall, also, like, with this, with all due respect, like the international football compared to club football is basically
it's slower.
Like, under 21s compared to senior football. It's not the same.
Yeah, against England, Kai Havertz was still shit, but those 2 goals, like, he did his job.
The second half, he was good though. Second half,
he picked up, but he was still shit against.
I don't know.
The thing is, though, the thing for me with Havertz is he had a free role in this game, and it was still just kind of meh. And the most annoying thing, and I would have said this about Aubameyang more if he hadn't scored, and it's not his fault. What I'm about to say.
Yeah, he doesn't get chances, and he still scored the one chance he had.
It's like he's so isolated on the football pitch. You know the way he is. He's not going to get involved in build-up, or very rarely. That's just not the player he is. Trying to change him like 32 or 33 or whatever he is.
He's 33,
Like that's not happening. So therefore, the players around him need to help out with that, and your strike partner needs to help out with that, rather than drifting into positions on the wide left or wide right to then just pass it back to the wing back or fullback or wherever they were. Like
so.
And the thing is the thing I'll say is, I'm fine with Kai then doing that if someone is going to take his position. So, for example, say Kai does go out to the left, you need one of the 2 8s to fill the gap he's vacated. Otherwise, you're just going to have Aubameyang. You're just going to have Aubameyang isolated on an island. And we had to require a long ball into a header, into a brilliant goal. Like, I'll take nothing away from the goal.
But my question to you, Scott,
isolated every game.
What can Havertz do that Aubameyang can't do himself? Like, what's the difference between them as players?
I think Havertz can drift into other areas to help with build-up play, but like
Wouldn't
the
you
only
prefer
way
to have
for me
somebody
that
who's a
works,
natural winger to do
I think that
like
works if
somebody-
you've got a striker that's like going to be a bit more mobile and whatnot. Like for me, like going forward, right? If we're going to keep with this formation, like it's going to be the 3 and then the 2 up top, it needs to be Aubameyang and Broja, because Aubameyang can then play off Broja because he's got a focal point next to him, rather than Aubameyang being on a complete island. And again, this isn't his fault because he's just not this type of striker. Like,
Well,
I think.
mean, let me ask you this then, Scott. Like, and again, I'm trying to be reasonable here with Havertz, and you know, just him not giving that service to Aubameyang and all that stuff. Wouldn't you also say that? And I know time is running so short because our patience here with Havertz is running thin at the moment. This is his 3rd season. We haven't seen what we paid the 70 million pounds to see all that. I get it, but wouldn't you say, like, because he's been so swapped and changed, he's been playing at the right sometimes he's a false nine, sometimes he's a striker, all this. Now that he is here playing the free role, don't you think maybe he should get a little bit of time to adjust to that role under Potter and with the players he has around him? Or do you think it's not an excuse?
But he is
Potentially,
given
but like,
time.
what's the expectation of him in that role? Because is the expectation to do what he did today and to do what he did for most of the game, like for Germany, where it's little passes, safe passes in non-threatening areas? Because if that's what we're expecting, then like, what's the point? Like, just go and put two proper strikers up there and like do what we did for the goal or the first goal. Hit long balls. Just hit a long ball into like a Thiago Silva who's marauding forward, and then like.
What would you say about this comment right here?
And that's fine, but that only works if you get someone, like I mentioned, covering the space. Like, Havertz dragging that defender is fine, but if a team is playing with a back 4 or a back 3, it means that you're still going to have someone on Aubameyang. Either Mount or Kovacic should be entering that vacated space. They should be the ones pushing in. Like,
can I say something about that? Havertz
find
dragging
that space.
defenders out.
Go for it.
Timo Werner used to do a lot of that, and people said you can't use that like to big him up or saying he's really good because he drags a defender.
But Chris, I almost gave Timo credit for that. Always.
No, it does help, but like I think a lot of players can do that. Especially if you got
it does help, but again, it's a showing up to work kind of argument, you know. It's like, you're doing the bare minimum, but you're getting credit for it, you know.
Yeah, and the thing is, like with Declared's comment, sorry, Kai, I've been talking a bit, but like with Declared's comment, that's fine. I'll big Kai up for that. But then you're looking at a different problem, and that's at the 2-8s, the midfielders that we've got don't understand how to then attack that space. The only midfielder we had today that knew how to attack that space was Conor Gallagher, for fuck's sake. The only midfielder we had that knew how to attack that space.
Yeah.
He had like 10 minutes, didn't he, Conor Gallagher, right? 10, 15?
Yeah.
Only he has 10, 15, and Pulisic has 6 minutes. I think the substitutes came a little bit too late, man, to be honest. Like the way that we played in the second half, I don't know. I wasn't really convinced.
The subs played well. I wasn't entirely like what's the word?
Rest.
When the substitutes happened, it was like, are they the right subs? Like, I was a bit confused, but fair play. Like, they turned out to be brilliant subs. It turns out to work really well, the subs that came on.
Andrew, what's going on, brother? Just to catch you up, we're currently talking about, you know, the performances under Mount and Havertz. If you have anything you want to add to that.
Mount was anonymous. Mount was anonymous. Kai, I thought had a far better first half than second half. I thought he had that great dribble, and that shot, it just didn't have enough bend on it. Set up Mount in the first half for that header. I generally had a better. And second half, he got a reverse ball back, and he took a touch instead of striking it right away. And now because I've seen that go for Germany, I know he can shoot. Okay, so this first touch bullshit. Just shoot it now. I know you can shoot now, so there's no excuse. But I thought he generally overall he played. I thought he played one of his better performances this season. Mount, he's now 007 in the league. You know what I mean? So nothing.
Wasn't it the same for him last season as well for Mount?
He's garbage. Like people,
I don't think he's garbage. I just don't think he's.
He's garbage. Like, again, this is one of the things I was talking about
people clip this part. You just heard Kai say he doesn't think Mount is garbage.
No,
I don't think he's a decent player.
The thing is, right? I was thinking about this today. It's another thing I was thinking about. Like, me and Andrew have had a discussion in the past with a couple of streams we've done on here recently about how we think Mason Mount could be like the Henderson of the middle of the team. He could be a squad option. Like, I'm deep in it now. Like, what? Even if he is a squad option, what's the point? What does he do?
I've never said he's garbage. I just never said that he's a world-class player who should be compared to Hazard.
I'm even deeper now. Is he even good enough to be a squad player? Because like, what? Even if he's coming off the bench in games, what's the point of him coming off in the bench in games just to run around?
I don't think. I never have seen a.
Wait, what's going on in this stream right now?
Who was the last player we had that was this overrated at Chelsea? I don't think.
He's overrated.
He's a horrible player. I don't think he's a horrible player, but saying that he's a great player is an extreme stretch.
The thing is, he's not overrated anymore. He's just protected. People, if you notice, people on Twitter don't rate him anymore. They just refuse to criticize him. He's the most protected player we've had, like, in so long. Like, no one wants to speak bad about him. I saw so many tweets say, "Oh, the midfield aren't really getting there." I saw people like digging out Kovacic and Jorghino, and fair enough, they had bad games. They deserve to be digging out. Like, no one spoke about Mount. And when they do, it's trying to find it in a way that's like respectful. No, just call him shit. Just say he had a shit game and he's fucking average. Ain't difficult.
You know what's mad? They still talk about him like he's 21 years old. He's going to be 24 in January. You know, that's the age where you're supposed to hit your prime. Do you expect like in 2 years for him to be?
I just don't think. I keep saying this, and this isn't just Mount. It's a blanket statement for all footballers. You shouldn't be praised for running and trying.
You're right, Andrew. That's what I literally said. I said it's basically like you go into an employer and expecting like.
Kai, it's what you praise your 4-year-old.
Yeah, when you come to work, with basically you're supposed to get like credit for come to work. You're getting a bonus for coming to work.
You get 150 grand a week. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's people think it's like just I hate.
Like the video and please subscribe. Thank you.
Gary, listen. If you close your eyes, you would think Scott is Kai today.
I'm just tired of this dude.
Bro, you know how I know Gary's a Mount fan. Look, he
played 3 different positions today. When was the last time you saw a player? When was the last time you saw a player manage to play 3 different positions and be a ghost in 3 different positions? He played as an 8, a 10, and a winger today, and was dog shit in every position.
But Scott, we said this. Scott, didn't we say this on Lewis's channel? That how can he be an 8 if he can't retain the ball? If he can't retain the ball, how is he going to be an 8 if he can't keep the ball in midfield? He's not a very good dribbler, so how is he going to keep the ball? He's not the best passer.
There was also I can't remember any good pass today.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
So I just can't, and that's maybe that wasn't his role though. Maybe it was to be a protective and do the defensive work. But even on the defensive, he got done by Elise. He got done by Elise in the first half. At
least they carved open that midfield. Like
carved
it open. So if his role was to do the defensive work, he failed. If his role was to be an attacking presence, he failed.
Yeah.
Like he failed at all aspects of his game today, regardless of whether he needed a defensive presence or an attacking presence.
Yeah. Well, let's talk
you
about.
Do you guys see pros in this game, like moving forward? Or is it like? Because for me,
there's some pros. Like
again, I'm the same. Like for me, I think we have defenders that can play a back 4.
There's a lot of pros. I thought,
I think we.
Yeah, there was quite a few pros. I think the performances of the bench players, like I think Ruben came on and was solid in the midfield. Like didn't do anything special, but came on and solidified that midfield. Like was quite good. I thought Gallagher came on and again did get a chance to shoot too much, but brilliant goal. And I thought overall he was decent. Pulisic, like, hey, he dribbled past the player for once. Good on him.
Probation.
But and I think that again, like Sterling was impressive. He was the only attacker actually linking with Aubameyang, I thought, for the most part. But the one problem with him is he takes so many touches. Just shoot the ball, man. Like I want to get on the edge of the box. Just hit it.
Do you guys think that Pulisic should be given a chance?
I don't care.
Just for once.
That's because I'll say now. That's because I now hate the player. But like if I'll fully admit there's now an agenda there.
For you, Kai, you can still give him a chance because you know the Lukaku situation. You didn't really.
No, but
care.
even with Lukaku, I said.
But like a lot of people who fully went for Lukaku, you know, every time he breathed wrong or something, those people should like basically be the same.
Yeah,
to
but Scott is
Pulisic,
above
really.
that. Come on, Scott is not that.
No, no,
bad.
no, I'm not.
Like,
Am I wrong?
I fully admit, and I'll fully admit now, like, because of all the stuff with him, like, I don't give a fuck if he ever plays for us again. But I fully admit I have a Pulisic agenda.
Yeah,
now.
but until
It's like,
for example, how you know the club are not happy with their options? They're literally trying to get Nkuku now. They're trying to Liao is still talked about with. Like I'm happy with the direction the club is going, right? Because we are trying to find solutions. But I want to see, like, what I'm not happy about is, for me, when I watch Mount and Havertz play for us, I feel like grabbing something sharp, man. I swear to God, and just cut myself, because I don't understand what do these guys offer us, and why are they chosen over other players?
Yes,
I don't get it. Like I honestly, like, they're not good defensively. Defensively, they're not good. Like today, Mount lost the ball like 3 or 4 times. Same thing with Kai Havertz. I don't get what they offer this Chelsea team that other players shouldn't be given a chance. Just I don't get it. Like, maybe someone can explain to me, what do they do that they're so valuable to this team?
Well, on the pros that we were talking about too, like, I know you guys don't agree, and this could be a bias in me, but even Andrew's saying it. If Andrew's saying it, I don't think it's a bias. Kai looked a little better today. I'm not gonna lie; it's one of his better performances. I think he was more involved in the game, more connecting. I think he just needs time to adjust to that free role. I want to talk about the cons.
I would
now,
sub him off.
You know what?
Pulisic next game.
I was, if we're still on the pros, to be fair, I will say 2 guys
ahead.
I want to speak about, like, for their games today. Number 1 is Fathur, and number 2 is James, especially on the defensive side.
Oh, James.
Like, when one English right back is like heading balls into like opposition players and just missing the ball completely, at least one English right back can have a good game like defensively. But I thought he had a good game defensively. I thought, like, attacking wise, it was a bit hit and miss in the first half, but it got better. And then Fofana again, like, first 10 to 15 minutes was shaky, but then had a really good game. And I think he's gonna end up being the centre back that plays the most, not just because he's the youngest, but because he seems to have a calmness with the way he plays.
Let's just do a super chat from Dark.
Oh, sorry. There you go.
Big up the panel. Chris, go back in the kitchen. I don't know what that means. Obviously, an inside joke.
It is.
Inside joke.
Finally, 3 points on the board. Is ABBA breaking the curse? It feels good to have football back again. Yeah, we haven't won in over a month, by the way. So it's been well over a month since we've tasted 3 points.
And barely as well, man. We were close not to.
Yeah.
But I want to actually say, in terms of the pros, I thought we were back to pressing faster over the last couple of games. I thought the passing's a lot quicker. It's more forward as well. I know it's
Jorghino's even looking more creative too.
Jorghino, the stats are going to say he's got like 76 possession, but he was trying to find those long balls over the top and stuff like that. Reece James, I know why Zaha wanted to move now, because every time he plays Reece James home and away, he's in his pockets. Zaha had to move to the other side. Reece James, now he's doing it at right back instead of like, right wing back.
Right wing back, whatever the fuck that was.
People behind him, bro. Just face. Any Chelsea fan.
Ladies and gentlemen, by the way, real quick, Diego Costa just came on, made his appearance as Wolves player.
Any Chelsea fans do not engage in any debates about Reece James.
Reece is
I was going to say, Reece is like, the thing about Reece is defensively, he's always been sound. It was always going forward that he needed to improve.
But I think his crossing is very good.
No, I know, but like in terms of he's again like similarly what I mentioned with Chilwell earlier. Like he's not that dynamic in attacking areas. He's improving on it, but that's kind of where he'd improve. Defensively, there's never been any questions about Reece James.
Mentality
ever
as well.
Any questions.
Mentality, 100%.
I think for his age, mentality-wise, he is what Mount fans think Mount is, mentality-wise. I think every game he plays, like every tackle, he puts all his effort in. Like the way he passes as well, his passing is really good. I think he, like Reece James, every year he actually improves. I see improvement in his play. Like I think he's defensively better than he was last season.
Kai, if you notice, he actually was deeper today, and he's hitting longer balls today instead of crossing, and it was
good. And also about like one pro that I thought about. Yeah, sorry, Scott. I think Aubameyang and Sterling in the future will start spreading other teams' cheeks, man, going forward. If they're given like a lot of games going to
this is the thing. This is the thing that
especially on the counter side.
We see it with Haaland, but we didn't see it with Romelu. Haaland doesn't get that much of the ball at Man City, but he scores. Romelu doesn't get that much of the ball at Chelsea, doesn't score half of them. I want to see what Haaland is doing to a certain extent, obviously,
Oh
at
my
City,
God. You just said
here
what
at
Daniel
Chelsea.
wrote. Oh,
Reece James is our only world-class English player.
that's
100%.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, probably not wrong.
But I know it's true.
That's a lot of debate.
But before he told me Mason Mount is as good as Kevin De Bruyne, bro. So I'm surprised.
No,
man.
no, he didn't say that.
Arguably,
He
Reece
didn't say
James is
that.
probably the top 2 right backs in the world right
Yeah,
now.
I agree.
There's not too many like fantastic right backs, like top class right backs. There's like mainly Premier Leagues, I would think. Like there's a couple outside of it, like obviously Hakimi, but I'm
Is
not
he better
sure
than
Hakimi-
Alphonso Davis? You think?
Davis is a left back though.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean as a fullback.
Oh,
No.
it's a fullback. Oh, it's quite hard to say. It's hard to say. But
I was
Reece
gonna say,
James,
I would say yes.
Well, it depends because I would say Davies is so much better going forward, but that's because he
Yeah,
started as a
creating
winger. Whereas I think
Pace as well.
defensively, James is better. So like,
Yeah.
that's because I think it's the same with like Hakimi. Hakimi is
Daniel,
like
calm down, bro.
good
Calm down.
defensively, but he's so much better going forward because he used to be a right mid who moved
Yeah.
backwards into a right back. So I think that's all.
Apparently he's a Chelsea fan, you know. But we have Corella, so Alfonso, I'm sorry. No.
All right, so 32 of you here. Make sure you're smashing that like button. We appreciate it. Next thing I do want to talk about, and since we have Kai and Fathur, what's going on, man?
Fathur with his Mazda.
Welcome to
There you
the welcome to the stream, brother. I'll have you start this off, Kai, because you're a fan of him. So we're talking about the midfield. We're talking about Jorghino and Kovacic, who are the seasoned veterans there.
Yeah.
Overall thoughts on Kovacic's performance?
I think he was bad today. I think he
Okay.
was sloppy. His passing was sloppy. Even like without the ball, he wasn't playing like as good as usually does.
Not fit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for me,
100%.
he should just get that surgery, man. And by January we try to get the new players until he's, because as much as I love Kovacic, like with his injuries and I'm not gonna be a hypocrite, you know, I'm not gonna be one of those like how Mason Mount fans are. I think he so far this season he's been on and off too much for me, and I don't think we should rely on him until he's like completely fit, which I don't know when is that gonna happen with his knee being
Like I
touched.
said earlier, Kai,
Scott, before you go, Scott, I want to lead this back to you because we were, kind of criticizing Jorghino a little bit today. Obviously, we
Let me go
he
on
has
Jorghino next, man.
deficiencies. Yeah. He has his deficiencies. Especially today, we saw how he just as soon as he gets beaten, he doesn't have the pace at all. Which whatever. And I think a lot of the issues that we have with Jorghino is because of the lack of reliability in consistent midfielders around him. He has Mount on one end and then Koba, who's not in good
I don't get
fit.
it. How is he slow and he's Brazilian, man? I don't get it, man. Maybe that's why they give him the Italian passport, bro.
Maybe.
I've never seen a Brazilian slow, man. Even when if you guys
I mean,
remember Kaká,
Fabinho and Casemiro, it's like, what do you mean, bro?
yeah, but
Fred
Fabinho's
isn't
not-
exactly rapid.
Is he? Yeah, but
I would say Fred is rapid.
Fred is still faster than Jorginho. Same
Oh
thing
yeah,
with,
obviously.
Fabinho.
I'm not saying he's
yeah.
like rapid. He's not like Usain Bolt.
But when you look at him, right? Like when you look at him, right, Scott? When you look at Jorginho, like his size and the way he's built, you'll be like, this guy is rapid, man. And then you see him run and he get outbeat by the referee, and you're like, what's wrong with this guy? Man?
What is
He's eating his
Jorginho's
vegetables,
valuable
man.
role, though,
The thing
Kai?
for me with Jorginho is him not being able to recover. I don't mind about as much. He shouldn't get beaten in the first place. Because like if you look at most DMs, like Rodri has the same problem, Fabinho has the same problem. Once they get beat, they can't recover because they haven't got the pace to do it. But the thing with those guys in comparison to Jorginho is they don't get beat as much. That's the main, like the bigger thing for me. Just don't get beat as much. If you can't recover, you can't recover. But just don't be an idiot with how you like. There was one where he went in and kind of slipped as he almost went. He ended up recovering because they kind of dallied on the ball. But there was one, I think it was it Ayu, I think, or Eze kind of went
Where he
past.
kicks
it, kind of
Ayu and
slipped.
Ayu just,
Yeah, I think he
Yeah,
tried to
foul.
tackle him. It looked like he kind of slipped at the same time, and then I
Yeah.
think it went to someone else, and they dallied on the ball, and he managed to get back and make the challenge to recover. But yeah, just like on the Kovacic thing as well, it's like what I said earlier. Like realistically speaking, if everyone is fit, Kante, Jorginho, and Kovacic should be our three. That would be our lockdown three. There should be no issue. But we can't rely on any of them because Jorginho has his deficiencies, as we know, especially when he hasn't got the players around him that bring the best out of him. And then the other two are just injury prone. Like they're not fit. And the problem is like we're seeing is you don't know how long it takes them to get back to their best. And there's always the worry when they come back that they're just going to get injured again. And then it's the same risk. Like we can't rely on any of these guys anymore. Like for me, the next two windows, there should be 3 new midfielders that come in at least to replace these guys. Because like, as
So
I've
far,
said this before, Jorginho
only
and
been linked
Kante
with
should
the
be
Ajax
gone
guy,
next
though.
summer. they should be gone next summer, and Kovacic probably the summer after.
Because like, talking about Alvarez, Kai?
Yeah, I think Alvarez is the only one we've been linked with.
Alvarez for me would be the Jorginho replacement, and then that other player would be someone like
you know what I said to this?
I love Bellingham, but we're not spending 130 million on him.
If we signed Odegaard, when we had the chance, I think it would have been really good for us. Especially though
like Goretz has got that injury history. I know there was that report. I don't know how like concrete or how reliable it is of us wanting to swap him and Havertz. I'd take him, but like
Ruben Neves.
Yeah, Neves is another one.
Neves.
Yeah. Who we signing? Ruben Neves.
Hey, maybe Wolves get relegated and we get them on cheap.
Hey, they're not getting relegated.
Always with the slimy mentality, Chris. It's always you, man. It's always like expecting the worst.
Like, they're struggling. They're losing 2-0.
Why relegated, bro? Just talk to them, man. Have them sell them to us. Why do you have like expect the worst?
Or we come at January, like say, look, you're struggling. You might get relegated. Maybe we give you 50 million. You buy some players and.
I saw that tweet.
What tweet is he talking about?
I think it's a picture of him going past Zaha and Zaha trying to catch up with him. Yeah,
that's why I like Reece, man. Reece knows
he should have been checking his pockets. That's what he should have been checking.
Yeah. Where is he?
Actually, that's another one. Because this would end up hurting Arsenal as well. If we can't get Alvarez, if they just say no, I'm taking Douglas Luiz from Villa. Like
really?
Because he's
also good.
Number one, he's trained under Pep. Pep wanted to keep him initially, but they couldn't. There were problems initially when he was at City, they wanted to keep him, they couldn't. Like they wanted to keep him as the backup to Rodri, and it didn't really work. Or to Fernandinho, or one of the two, I can't remember which one. But it didn't really work. But he's been brilliant since he's gone to Villa, and he has that like kind of grit in him where he'll go into challenges hard. And
Isn't his contract out though?
I don't know when his contract ends, if it's like this summer, but even so, like they reportedly it was like 35 million is how much he was valued at, which is like nothing in today's market.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind. For me, like the thing with Jorginho is I think he's as creative as a painter with no arms. But other than this, man, like I think like he lose the ball too much. Then we should get somebody who's actually more mobile as well, better passer. I don't think Jorginho is that good of a passer, to be honest, man. And that's not me.
Hold on, Marshall.
Go ahead, Fathur.
Just to add that Jorginho's, I would say he's not a technical leader, and I think he's carrying a huge athletic limitation, in my opinion.
And I don't disagree. What I'm coming to Jorginho's defense about is that I just think that what Scott touched on earlier is that I don't think he has reliable midfield partners right now that could help him, because I feel like just like with Koulibaly or like Thiago Silva, like if they're getting exposed so often, it's hard for them to look good when they're constantly having to concede goals or not keep clean sheets. Thiago Silva can only make so many tackles, just like Jorginho can only try to control the ball so often.
I honestly disagree with you, because I think like Kovacic the second half he became better when Jorginho came off. I think once they play with each other with Jorginho, he always hinder everybody around him, man, because they have to cover for him when he loses the ball. I don't think Jorginho is the worst of players. I just think he's not the same player that we got when he came with Sarri. I think he's a different player.
I think he plays better in a free in midfield. He's not a double pivot player for me.
No, he's not.
Because of the physicality and everything like that. I think.
Are we talking about Kova or Jorginho?
No, well, both actually.
Okay.
They're not double pivot players. They're better in a free. We've seen examples of that throughout the years. Last season when Kante came in against Spurs away, and we dominated the midfield with them free in it. Listen, Jorginho is what he is. I thought he's been better since Tuchel's left, actually, than 2 games in terms of.
I think he's been more creative.
His passing forward has been better. I think he's actually got faster with his passing, amazingly. But listen, they've all got deficiencies, and that's the problem. They've all got deficiencies, and we can't rely on any of them. Because now Jorginho went off injured, right? And he was holding his hip, it looked like, or his side.
Yeah, it looked like that.
From Wednesday, we've got 3 games in 6 days. So I don't know whether he makes the AC Milan game. And he's the most reliable out of the 3 unreliable midfielders.
Hey, Mods, you want to take care of that, Mods?
I would say.
Oh my god! I just saw it.
Hey, we made it.
What kind of good time was it talking about?
Yeah, we have made
it. We made it. We made it. We got
No,
one of
no.
those spammers.
I would save
Told you.
Jorginho for the Milan.
Fathur
second
actually
game.
clicked that link, man.
Oh my God.
Go on, Fathur.
I'm sorry, Fathur. Go ahead.
Oh, you're
No,
upset.
I was gonna say like, I think Jorginho might play only the two Milan games. I don't think he'll play the Wolves game.
Yeah,
Are you saying that because rotation or rest and stuff, like, or is it just because
I'll
of
say
performances?
rotation.
Who else
Rotation
do
and
we
rest.
really have a
He does
DM
need to be
there?
rotated, to be honest. Like I think has he even
Oh,
missed
we
a
have
match,
we do
Jorginho?
have Zachary. Like,
He didn't start one. I know he didn't start one.
Yeah, we're playing Jorginho as much as we will play Conte, so I
It's
think
like
that doesn't help
yeah,
either.
Jorginho.
He didn't start against Spurs, right?
Oh damn, our next game is on Wednesday. I didn't even clock that.
Yes,
Yeah,
Wednesday.
no,
Then we got Wolves Saturday, and then
schedule's
Milan
nuts,
return
man.
on the Tuesday. So we got 3 games in 6 days coming up. So
Yeah. Another thing I wanted to throw out there too is I'm seeing a few people upset with Sterling's performance today. Are you guys upset with Sterling's performance?
Yeah, he was.
No,
I don't blame him though. We can't expect a player
Yeah.
to always be good. He's the one who's carrying us. If it wasn't for him, we'd be at the bottom right now. So I'm not mad at him.
I'd be interested to know what people were complaining about because the only thing I have to complain about him is he sometimes takes too many touches. Like,
Yeah.
but apart
He
from
did.
that,
He
like,
definitely took a lot of
He could
touches
have
in
passed it to
some plays
Aubameyang with
today.
that
apart from that,
No,
there
that
was
shot as
like,
well.
the same thing with me about Sterling's the same way I felt like the start. He just makes every other attacker we have apart from Aubameyang just look incredibly average. Because like the thing that he has is number one, he always wants to get on the ball, no matter where he is, what position he is. He always wants the ball, which I love from our players. Like when you want to be on the ball, it shows you have confidence in your abilities. Like, and the fact is, he always gets the ball as well in kind of threatening areas. He'll always want to try and get at players, which not all of our attackers want to do.
Isn't it great though to come away from a victory, not having to rely on Sterling?
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah,
like, we
that
should
is
want
true.
that.
That's
Yeah,
a
but we
very
should
good
want
point.
that.
But that's why I said Andrew. I think him and Obama going forward. I think they're gonna have a very, very good like link up. Like you
Yeah,
could see
and
like parts of it, and I think
goal-
people who are like after like Obama played one game, they're like, oh yeah, he's shit. He's just like, I'm like, bro, he literally has his fucking skull broken. He just came back to play in the Premier League again. Give him time and he'll score, man. And I predicted he will score today.
That goal was beautiful.
And you know what he said in the interview?
Great goal.
And you know what he said in the interview? He said it was a simple, like a striker's goal, man. I'm like, it's not that fucking simple because none of our attackers can do it, man.
No, but we've not seen. The thing is, we've not seen how simple it is for 5 years. 5.5 years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I've not
since
seen
Costa.
that since Costa, bro. The way he anticipated that, like, to get into a position to, just in case whatever Thiago was going to do, to hold up the defender and then have enough space to turn and shoot. And the goalkeeper didn't
All
get
with
a
one touch
finger
as
on
well.
it.
One touch,
He
not
didn't
even
get-
2 touches,
yeah.
man.
He didn't get a finger on it, the goalkeeper. That was
Yeah.
a sublime finish. We
One
haven't
touch.
seen
That's
from
why
a
it was
striker.
so good. Yeah, he was voted man of the match because of that goal, man. For
Was he?
Sky. Yeah, he was Premier
The thing
League man
is,
of the
like,
match.
I saw Alexis tweet this out, and I completely agree. There's no one in our entire squad apart from maybe Brozier that's scoring that. No one else in our entire squad that's
Scott, I thought it was a 2-touch goal. I thought we like
No,
started and
literally,
then he volleyed, but no, it's
literally
one touch
his
goal.
I think
first
there's a
touch
couple
there
people
was the
that
shot.
can do it.
Like his first touch there was the shot.
Yeah, it's beautiful how he just left the defenders. That's why I'm saying just give him time. People need a lot of that. What annoys me with Chelsea fans is they would give the players that they like time, and then the players like, oh, I never wanted Auba here, so then they start like fucking throwing a tantrum every time he misses a chance. Just give him time, man. I give him 3 fucking years of my life, man. So,
I know people like to bring up the fact that even in today's game, Auba wasn't that involved. Sometimes he did drop, which is great and all, but if you're getting the ball in a goal scoring position like that and you score, I won't say shit. At the end of the day, if you're scoring
again, this annoys me because
we didn't make that many chances for him.
No, but this annoys me because it's the same thing with Lukaku, and people just don't understand. He's 30. I said this earlier. He's 33.
I don't think it's
He's
the
not
same thing with Lukaku.
No. It's a similar thing in terms of they're not changing how they are as players, how they've played for most of their career. Now it's not happening. If you're expecting something different, like if you're like he did press a bit today, Aubameyang, but it's not really how he is. If you're expecting him to drop deep, link up play, quick 1-2s, press everywhere, you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you're setting yourself up to be disappointed if that's what you think he's going to do. He's
These
going to
types of
be a guy
advanced
who
strikers,
sits on the
right?
last man, who is going to try and look for little gaps, who's going to have very few touches.
Yeah, they
barely
need
get
crosses and
involved.
through balls. That's how they score goals. These kind of guys, they're not too complicated with. They're just good off the ball, and you need to feed them with through balls and crosses,
Exactly.
and they will score goals for you. You can't overcomplicate. But in order for him to do that, you have to pass to them, and that's why my issues with the other attackers around him. They don't involve them. Like the reason Aubameyang scored today is because he's a good goal scorer, not because he's a great football player. He's a good goal scorer.
What they're going to
And
have to also
capitalize on
change
good goal
is
scorers.
what they're going to also have to change is, and he's not still fully fit. Stop hitting the ball over the top so many times. But on the floor, try and do it through ball if you can. Over the top, he needs big space at the moment to do that.
And there was some plays that didn't pull off. That the idea was there, over the ball, through ball to him. Yeah, it's just
and like I said earlier, if he's being left on an island and like ghosting in games at times, look at other players around him, because he's not going to change how he plays. So you have to look at other players around him to fit how he's going to play into making him effective. Like that's why with the Kai thing, like I get Kai moving out wide was opening space and whatnot, but then no one was there to take advantage of the space, so it was a waste of time. So just then, like, stay near him so you can play 1-2s off of him and he has someone to link off. That's why I think, for me personally, the front two, if that's going to be what we do going forward, has to be Brozier and Aubameyang, because then Aubameyang has someone he can link off of. He has a focal point that he can like make moves off of.
I just want to say two things. 40 people have only got 13 likes. Come on.
13?
Yeah.
Come
on.
Are you charging
like
people
button.
like it, Marshall?
I'm not charging for likes.
You're not.
It's $3.99. It's $3.99 in every single country. It's a currency that translates throughout the
$3.99. What an American thing to
like,
say,
man.
Just say 4, man. Just say 4, man. $3.99.
Two things as well. Stop overreacting on the lineup, because most of you thought Sterling was going to play left wing back again, and that didn't happen. And second of all, to Ryan, if anyone or Carlito, after that first goal, Fofana really, he was really good. I think I said this on another stream with Carlito and Ryan. What he's going to have to get used to is that because of the price tag, because of the club he's at, any mistake is going to be highlighted more than his entire time at Leicester. Okay? If he can get over that, start playing well, he's only 21, the price tag will go away. Okay? While you've got him, soak up as much information and as much time with Thiago Silva as you can. Because I don't think he's going to be here next summer.
Hey, even Koulibaly, like
Koulibaly,
as he's been so far, he's an experienced like a defender who's captained his team to a trophy, like a European the international trophy. Like you've got two perfect guys to learn off of, and I tell you what, like France's centre back duo is absolutely sorted for the next 10-15 years once Varane and Kimpembe retire. It's Fofana and Saliba. There you go. That's
Koundé might be in
touch it,
well.
change it, nothing. That's set.
Speaking on Koulibaly in the lineup, by the way, how do you guys feel about Koulibaly being left out now 2 games in a row? Like it makes me a little uneasy, just because like I know what this guy is capable of, and it makes me feel like Graham Potter isn't putting his best lineup out there, or maybe he has plans to rotate Thiago Silva in the Champions League. Maybe I don't know, but like overall, I did want to ask what you guys' thoughts on Koulibaly not starting.
Marshall. I think it was a bit more rotational. I don't think he was. I don't think he's poor this season, but I think it's just. I think Potter trying to manage the squad, though, because like Andrew said, we've got like 6 straight games in October, and we play like about 4 times midweek games. Roughly.
We got like 13 games in 6 weeks.
I saw 9 games in October.
I also though think he's come out and said himself that he's struggled a bit. But we've got to remember, these guys not only have to acclimatise on the pitch, but off the pitch as well, right? Mm-hmm. It's a different pace. It's different like this. He is 31. It's going to take him longer maybe to adjust. And like Fathur said, I also agree. We're probably going to see him play. I would think we're going to maybe see him play midweek against Milan, because Thiago Silva played another 90 minutes again this time. And he played an international break as well. And we need I don't know, but I just don't want to. Thiago Silva is very important. Okay, even at 38,
yes.
He's the best defender we have. So I don't want to see him. And you know what? Big up Potter. He didn't put Aspie on either. So big up on that as well.
Yeah, that is true.
Man.
Look at that laugh. Look at that, Chris. I could see the hatred to win with that laugh, bro. You hit it.
You
so
should be
well,
proud, man. Kai. You should be proud of him.
Who?
Why?
Chris.
Chris. Oh yeah, he's learning, man. He's learning. I'm proud
Yeah,
of him,
exactly. Yeah.
But if we do like keep it a back four, I think there will be rotational with the centre backs because we've got Koulibaly, Fathur, and
I'm not mad at
even
it.
even Aspie for maybe the Carabao Cups. I don't know.
Shut up, Chris.
But
Stop it.
It's not till November, eh?
but like it's a good while away. And then you got obviously Thiago Silva. So you got 3 really good centre backs for rotational for a back four. So like Thiago should have rest. Hopefully.
I can't wait for the Milan game, man. That is an audition for what's his name for Liao. Like.
Well,
It's
that's
too
going
much.
to be a very interesting
That's a
game.
He
But
plays on the
Yeah,
left,
well,
right? Plays on the left.
Yeah.
yeah, he does play on the left for the most part.
Sterling can play on the right.
Reece James. Let's see what he does against Reece James.
Nothing.
The other thing too is I do have to be honest about Koulibaly is what Andrew touched on is his form hasn't necessarily after the first 2 games his form kind of dropped. He's making mistakes here and there, and I'm just wondering and I'm hoping that it's not because of that. I'm hoping that that we didn't just get this player and we were all hyped up about it, and he's not as good as that we all thought he was. Maybe
I think it's kind of like like beating the gun. I think if you give him a chance, he'll be good. I just think like a lot of these guys, Aubameyang, Koulibaly, all these guys, they came at like a bad period at Chelsea. I think they will move away from that time, because they came at the place where we're just like dropping points, like we're doing charity, giving everybody points.
The other thing too is because I do want to see him play in that left center back, because I kind of disagree with what Scott was saying earlier. I think moving forward, Koulibaly does provide a lot of what Rudiger does, and he does have the recovery pace to be good defensively too. I mean, a few other games that we saw, he made mistakes, which that could be adaptation, that could be a multitude of factors. But moving forward, I think he does provide a lot in form of attack and passing. Like he has some good through balls. He has assists under his bag already, So I don't know. It's just a thought I had. Let's talk about Christian Pulisic.
Yeah.
So he got an assist today. You gotta give it to him. He got an assist today.
He did
get the assist. Yeah. Oh, he did. He dribbled past the player as well. Like he got in between. It's a good assist.
Because I didn't know if it was one of those. I didn't know if it was one of those like Werner assists from last year against Luton, where people said, "Oh, he got the assist," when he actually got tackled and the tackle.
No, he did pass it. No, he did pass it.
They did. That's a good pass from him. That's why I think he should be given a chance. It's not fair, bro. It's not fair that Mount and Havertz keep being playing but given nothing, and these guys play for 6 minutes or 4 minutes or 10 minutes, and it will be interesting to see how Graham Potter will manage this team.
How
do you think? Go ahead, Chris.
I was talking about like I don't know what it's because there's a different manager, and if Mount and Kai Havertz still gets like game time over and over, what is it? Because is it something like in the contract, like they have to play like so many minutes and they just doesn't matter who's in charge?
Maybe I think it goes on their reputation.
The thing with me though is that like I hear what Kai is saying. Obviously, Havertz, Mount, these are players that really don't deserve to be starting. You should give Pulisic a chance. And even I was saying before the interview, Pulisic should get the chance because at least like when he's on, it looks at least he's doing the minimum, which is the trying, and he's getting himself into positions and not giving up. Which again, that's the bare minimum. This is the bare minimum, which we weren't getting from Havertz or Mount at one point, but. Even then, like he can't play the right wing. He doesn't want to play left wing back.
He can't play right wing.
Sterling on the left Is he going to play over Sterling on the left? Are we going to put
No.
Sterling on the
No,
right
no.
just to make
Who
Pulisic
said
play on the
that he
left?
can't play on the right wing? That's what he played for.
He
He's
can
not,
play on
no,
the
he's
right
not a
wing.
right winger. He's
No, but he can play there.
if he's gonna play on the right wing, he needs to have some level of creativity. And we can say what we want, but I'm not using the assist today as a level of he has creativity.
Yeah, but
he's not creative.
Sure.
Scott, give him a chance. You can't expect a player to be creative in 6
But
minutes.
he's not
or 10
creative, bro.
minutes.
Like I can tell from watching him play, he's not a creative type of winger. He's
But-
like him and Sterling are two similar type of players. Like
But are the
they
players
both
we
want to
have
get
ahead of
get
him?
on the end of stuff in the box and have tap-ins. That's the type
Scott,
of wingers
I
they
get
are
that.
primarily.
I get that, but are the players who are playing ahead of him now are
No,
they more creative than him? I
that's
disagree.
fine, bro. But Mount doesn't play the same position as Pulisic. Like
What?
I get
What?
I get like wanting
No,
to
I'm
like
talking about Havertz as well. Like would you
Havertz
prefer to
doesn't
see
play
him-
in the same position. I don't want to see Pulisic as the 10
But
with the free
Havertz was
roll.
playing on
Like,
the right wing today. He was playing on the wing today.
he had a
And
free
was-
roll. Like, and I've said Brozier to be playing as the other striker with Aubameyang. Like,
But
I get people want
didn't we
Pulisic
give
to play more,
Pulisic a start?
the thing is,
Already
for
this
me,
season?
Pulisic's competition in this team is Sterling.
Why? We should
I
have two
mean,
To be
wingers,
able
not
to
one.
stop because Sterling is more effective on the left than he is the right. Like, I think we can
Yeah.
all agree with that he's more effective
Yeah,
on the
he's
left than he is
right-footed,
on the right. For me, Pulisic cannot play on the right. He's not going to be at his best on the right.
But that's
So
what I
then he's-
disagree though.
he's
'Cause I
starting on
think
the left.
under Lampard, Pulisic was very good for us after that COVID time. I think he just needs a good run of games. I honestly think because we've been given Havertz and Mount a run of games, and I don't think they impressed at all. I don't think it's fair that they get a run of games, no matter what, and then people like I'm not Pulisic's biggest fan, right? I think we could upgrade on him massively with Leao or whoever it is, but I just think if what we have now isn't working, why keep going with it? You know, just
Amen.
give someone else a chance.
I think you will.
I don't care if he
especially-
leaves either, Ryan.
especially
But like at the
from-
moment,
Yeah,
that's what I'm
I
talking
don't
about
care
right
if he
now.
leaves
I
either.
think you will see, especially from Wednesday forward, because we've got those 3 games in 6 days. You're probably going to see him start maybe one of them at least.
Mhm.
Inshallah, man. That's
and
what I'm
given-
hoping for, man.
No, I think it dictates that you have to for like the fitness and resting players and rotating because, like I say, we've got 13 games in 6-7 weeks. We're going to play every 3 or 4 days. I think the biggest gap is now like going to be between the Milan game and the Aston Villa game in 5 days. So, you know, between games is probably going to be our biggest gap before the World Cup. So, I think I just think that will dictate that sensibly. You don't want to run people into the ground. You don't want to play Sterling every game for 90 minutes. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's not gonna happen because we're gonna need to rotate.
But let me just put out there another perspective on this, especially after that whole interview, and you kind of get a little bit of a glimpse, right? This isn't the whole picture, but we get a glimpse of his attitude when it comes to himself as a player, you know, saying what he said about how he disobeyed the manager's orders. And he's, you know, there's only one reason you bring that up in a freaking interview is to prove a point that, oh, I knew better than Tuchel kind of shit, and his, you know, coming out with all that stuff while Tuchel was still a manager. I think there's a possibility that, you know, Potter, Tuchel, Lampard, they see he might have this attitude issue that he just doesn't cooperate with the tactics.
Yeah, but
Given that interview, what is the difference between his interview and Lukaku's interview?
I think
Lukaku's actually
between
played.
his interview-
That's the difference. Lukaku's actually played a lot. This guy is
played-
literally.
The only thing for me,
Lukaku played
the
less
difference
minutes than
is that
Havertz.
Tuchel was employed. That was the only difference. Tuchel was employed.
But I mean, at the time of that Pulisic did that interview, Tuchel was still employed. But
Was he?
not only that, yeah, I don't think
To
he
be
did
honest-
it in the
to
few
be
days that he
honest,
was
yeah.
sacked.
I don't mind that.
No, I don't
that
mind it
that he's
either.
complaining.
I'm just saying.
If I was
the
in his
reaction-
situation, seeing the players who play ahead of him, the way they're struggling in that attack, I would also complain because they're not
I
doing
don't-
anything that warrant for them to play ahead of him.
The
I
thing
don't
that
think
the
they
thing
are.
that bothers me is he complained about it. He complained about not playing in the Champions League final, which, by the way, was a Champions League final that we won. He has more of an issue not playing the Champions League final than being happy about the fact that he won a Champions League at his age at Chelsea, and he was involved to get there. You know,
that goal versus
so
Real
that-
Madrid was beautiful.
it was a great goal, and you know what? Let's get it right. At the final, when he came on, he also missed a goal. Like, so, you know, it's like I think he doesn't take enough accountability on himself.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
Real quick,
Marshall,
Kai,
I
before
agree.
you go, hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, or gentlemen, unless you want to identify as a lady, just real quick, just to answer Andrew's question, is the difference between the Lukaku interview and this interview is that I never felt, when Lukaku came out and said that, I never got this feeling that Lukaku came out with an arrogance about him, saying that he knew better than the manager and that the Tuchel doesn't know what he's talking about. When Pulisic comes out and says, I disobeyed the manager in that instance and I scored the goal for Real Madrid, him coming out and saying that is, to me, him saying that, oh, I always knew better than Tuchel, and this is an instance where I prove it.
I agree. My point of that is that I've noticed, and it might be something underlying, and I don't mean to bring it to this. The furore in the reaction to the Lukaku interview has been very different to the Pulisic interview. It's been very different, okay? And you could arguably say that both of them are near enough putting the coach under the bus and the tactics and stuff like that. Which, if you want to, fine, but then you've got to deal with the consequences. I just think the reaction to it is very different. Oh, Pulisic, stuff like that. I just think Pulisic himself has to take partly a big chunk of the blame for him not playing. That form after COVID and after lockdown is looking more of an aberration, and that was something different that we're never going to see again. Now we need to run a games. He needs to run a games. Maybe you're right. Maybe he does need to run a games, and I understand that. But you need to every time he did something, came on, every time he started over his little things, if he did something, and like he did today, which is good, if he continues to do that going forward, then you build up a better case to go, I'll send it. You build up a better case for him. So I saw the private chat. You bring up the better case for him to start more games. And whatever cameos he has, he needs to be talked about. Yeah? Like with this one, I know everyone will talk about the Gallagher goal, but Pulisic played a huge part into it. He needs to be talked about it, but he needs to start building it up. If he gets minutes against Milan, stuff like that, do something, in there that we are appreciative of. But if you don't, then it's just going to be the same old, isn't it? So
the biggest thing for me, like I mentioned earlier, like take everything out of it. Take how I feel about him as a player. Take how I feel, like take out my feelings. I never wanted to play another game. Just look at it from like, he is fighting for for a position with our best attacker. Yeah, like that's kind of the, like, if we need someone who's going to play on the right, Ziyech is more suited there. Like, we either have to play Sterling or Pulisic on their kind of least preferred side, which takes away a little bit from what makes them good. If we want both of them to play. For me, that's it. Like, he's just fighting with our best attacker for a place, and it sucks. But
I think that issue is is resolvable. I think if we move to a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3, where we actually have two wingers, I think it'll be good for us.
Yeah, but it's still the same issue, Kai, because either Sterling or him has to play on the right, and Sterling is by far and away our best left winger. Like, in terms of
who do we play on the right now? Who do we play on the right side now?
Kai Havertz?
James.
The
way we play, James is our right attacking outlet is Reece James more often than not.
No, but I mean, who's our right winger? I think he's.
We don't have that. We don't have one.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We need to.
Our wingers, our quote-unquote wingers, are Sterling and James because of the way we play currently. Kai is given a free role to just roam and do whatever he wants, and Aubameyang's our number 10. Oh, number 9, sorry.
But that's what I'm saying. If we take Kai Havertz sometimes out, and we put Pulisic in there with two wingers and one striker,
Pulisic is the free role.
No, I want us to play with actual wingers. Overlapping from the other wingers.
Carlito, what are you saying, brother?
I only came on for just a second, man. Look, I prioritize club over players. I always have. And I think that proper fans do. And that's fair. Look, I'm an American. I'm not going to lie about it. And that's very clear.
Oh, really?
But no shit. But at the same time, I have to say that what he has done is very look at me, Louis. He's very about himself. And I simply just don't appreciate it. Christian Pulisic, I just don't appreciate it. I don't think that he understands the opportunity that he has at Chelsea. I don't think he understands how big this club is. I don't think he understands that he's actually quite integral to what we want to do, but he gets in his own way. And he constantly demands interviews. He constantly wants to talk about himself within the context of his team, not the team within the context of himself. And there's a difference there. There's a profound disparity between the two. And it just defines selfishness. And I just don't like it. I just don't like it.
But don't you think it's out of frustration though?
That is not acceptable as an excuse. It's just not, because everyone wants to keep things in house, and when you are that blatant about your disrespect for whomever is on Chelsea, you're disrespecting not just that person, you're disrespecting the club. That quip he had about Tuchel, he had that in his gun. That bullet was in his gun months ago. That was not written yesterday. That is bullshit to anyone thinks that was some last minute thing. It was not. So for that, Tuchel, I loved him. He did some unprofessional shit behind the scenes. That's probably why he got fired. It wasn't results based. As for Pulisic, if he's getting in the deal with Leao, if this is a reason that we're going to get Leao, fine. I will pack your fucking bags. I will buy you a pizza on the way. I will buy you an Uber X. You can fuck off.
Ryan,
As for the
I agree with you.
Okay. But I only have one more thing to say, because Marshall, this is his show. The last thing I'll say is
you can stay here if you want, man. I don't give a fuck.
I got a pizza. I got a pizza in the oven, buddy.
No wonder you mentioned pizza. Okay.
That's why, man. Now we're all hungry.
No. Look. I'll say this: Wesley Fofana fucked up. Had a couple, bad passes. Here's the thing: he had the balls. He had the balls to galvanize himself and become not defined by a couple of mistakes, and he didn't let it define his performance. Wonderful resurgence within his performance, second half in particular. And as for Gallagher, the guy got a red card. He was playing bad for Chelsea. Not a great way to say, I want to stay at Chelsea and I want to make something of myself. He has been playing poor. And then all of a sudden, he grew a 10-inch dick, said, I'm going to fucking be Crystal Palace, Conor Gallagher. And he brought us home. Marshall, we needed the 3 points, baby. We needed the 3 points. I swear to God, Conor Gallagher was 10 feet tall when he shot that ball. And I'll tell you what, dude, it takes a lot to be brave. It takes a lot to be brave. Bravery is a choice. And he had the courage to say, I'm just going to fucking do this for my team. And I give him unbelievable props for that. Shout out Conor fucking Gallagher. You don't have the minerals, baby. You got the vitamins.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
Wait, Ryan, don't you think the reason he wasn't frustrated is because he's from Cobham and knew he's
Is it just me, or did that sound like a wrestling promo?
It did, man. You know what? It's like a TNA. It was like a TNA promo, man. You guys
it reminded me of like Hulk Hogan, bro.
Let me tell you something, brother.
How do you grow a 10-inch dick, man? That must be fucking painful.
But also, back to thank you, Carlito, for coming on all this. But
yeah, seriously.
Going back to it, Pulisic would have more of a point if he had the performances to back up.
Yeah.
That's what he'd had. He'd have more sympathy from us, more empathy from us. You know what? You're absolutely right. There's something. This is non-football. Why you're not being picked, but he needs to think. He needs to forget about his brand and his book, and start focusing on his Chelsea career, or it's not going to last.
That was the thing. That was the thing about Chalobah. Like Chalobah hasn't like a legit kind of.
He's got a beef.
Yeah, he's kind of like, because he had a good half season. Like even in March, was it? You said it was it March. You said he got Player of the Month.
I think
he was nominated.
He was nominated.
Like he's someone who's got a legitimate beef. Is like, why am I getting more opportunities? I've shown I've like half a season.
We'll talk to you soon, man.
No, let me go next, and then I'll go.
Okay. Gotcha. Sorry, Kai. Okay, Kai, go ahead.
Scott.
I wasn't sure what you were saying. Scott, finish your point. I'm sorry, and then Kai.
Again, there's different things with Pulisic. I just think that fair enough, he had a good 10 minutes in this game, but there needs to be more.
You can blame his dad all you want on Twitter. That's coming from his son. His son is telling him to do that.
as I say, if he had an issue with what his dad was saying, he'd say something. But yeah, like I just think
he
that,
shut it down.
He needed to bitch slap his dad and tell him to be quiet. To be honest.
Yeah,
Well, no, because he's telling his dad to do it. It's coming from his dad. So
He did it more than once as well. Like,
I just there's not much for me to go off that says he should be starting. Like, we can say Havertz and Mount haven't been playing, and you're right. But
go ahead, Kai.
For me, I'm gonna look at it from the arrogant cunt that I am, and my way of viewing it. Right.
1 hour 14.
If I am him, right? If I am him, and I watch the other attackers around me accommodating like 5 or 6 goals, like in 7 games or whatever, on 10 games, or 20 games, 30 games, I'm gonna go ahead to myself, and just that's me, like kind of trying to justify it from the way that like trying to justify it. Do I agree with what he's done? No. Do I think he should share Chelsea in the long run? I think other than Obama against Sterling, all these fuckers should go. But that's not the point. I think the fact that there's a players who played ahead of him and they were dog shit. I don't if for any other club, both Havertz and Mount wouldn't have started in the form that they have been. And it's not only this season. If you look at the last 15 games before this season even started, they also maintained that shit of form. So for me, I think I understand why his frustration is, right? The way he went about it might be kind of controversial, right? But there is a point for him to say, if I was his dad, I would understand and be like, look at this donkeys playing ahead of him. My son should be given a game, right? So I do understand his point. I think whatever him and Tuchel had behind the scenes, I don't know if there's something, but the reality is I think he was mistreated by Chelsea. Or by the manager of Chelsea, not Chelsea directly. I do think he deserved more chance that he was given, with a lot more minutes, because what he has been given with this 10-15 minutes is not fair for any football player to demand something out of him. And that's what I'm going to be like non-biased with it. You know what I mean? But that's just my opinion about the whole Pulisic thing. Do I want him to stay? No. Leao is triple the player. I think Pulisic is a little bit overrated, but I do understand and sympathize with what happened to him at Chelsea.
I keep going back to it, and it's maybe even unfair to even say it's against Pulisic. But the slim pickings you get, you've got to be outstanding, and that's hard. You got to make a positive impact. He did today. He didn't score.
Yeah.
His dribble and his pass made it possible for Gallagher to have the space to shoot. Okay, that's great. Start building that. Add an assist. Just be positive when you come on. That's what you need to do. And you know what? This is a second chance for you until maybe January when you're sold or next summer. But you know what I mean? It's like you're going to get some games. You have to. Logic dictates these players cannot play for all these players. The same starting line cannot do 13 games in 6 and a half.
Andrew, that's not fair though. That's not fair. Because he waited during Tuchel, he didn't get it. Like you saying, like logic would indicate that he will play, but even when there is a need for him to play, he didn't play him.
But I just think now, because of this, how clusterfucked the schedules are in terms of like that, there's going to be a point where There's going to be a point where they're going to check the
even
fitness, the red zone, and everything like that, and realize I can't play this player 3 games in a row. It's just not logical. He's going to get injured, or he's going to miss the World Cup, stuff like that. We shouldn't really care if he missed the World Cup.
Unless you're not, you play no matter what.
No, but you just then if he starts doing stuff and Potter isn't putting him in, then you can actually question Potter and go, what is it? Because it's not a football issue. What is it? Is it a personal issue? Something like that. You just have to. Anyway.
And I agree with Kai. Like I really do. I think there have been, and we don't talk about this enough, and I'm glad Kai brought it up. There have been multiple instances where Pulisic should have been playing, should have deserved to play last season when Mount or Havertz went in bad form and Pulisic was sitting bench. There have been games where Pulisic doesn't get an assist or a goal. One that sticks out to me is the what was it, the Burnley game? There was a game where he was just getting knackered the whole entire game, fouled constantly. I think it was Burnley last season, and he was putting on a performance. Didn't get a goal or assist that game that I can recall, but just seeing that, like, I don't care if he comes on, makes a cameo and doesn't get a goal and assist, as long as I see attacking defenders, trying to get dribbling, trying to outpace defenders, trying to do something, trying to impact the game in some way, then I don't mind if you play. And, you know, going back to the previous point that Carlito brought up, I think where I have the issue with Pulisic, the biggest one is that you're getting paid a salary, you're getting paid a certain amount. The least you can do is be professional about this whole thing. You know, don't make public remarks. Don't, especially in this kind of environment, especially with a manager like Tuchel. Like, let's have it right. Tuchel is not some manager that's going to be managing like a championship side. Like, he's going to be managing top teams.
England.
He could be managing England. He could be managing Juventus if
You said top teams. Juventus is not
Allegri.
top team anymore.
No, they're a big
Juventus,
team.
bro.
Chris, when did it become
Big
so
name.
toxic, Chris? God damn, bro.
No, but, like,
It's your
come on,
fault,
they're not.
Kai.
Like, they're not.
Even
they're
I'm not that
big.
toxic, man.
They're not
They're not
that
having a
big
good
anymore.
season. They're not
They're
having
not
a
having a
good
good
season,
season
but
for like 5
I know.
seasons now.
they're
But
still a
Allegri
big
could
team,
get
bro.
sacked, but they're a big team. Allegri could get sacked. Tuchel could
Oh,
take
they're
over,
big now.
and then next thing you know, there's links that Pulisic
Marshall,
could be
who's the
over
big
to
player
Juve.
right now?
Hold on, let me finish. There could be there's links that there could be Pulisic going over to Juve, and what if Tuchel's there? Then you just burned a bridge, bro, by not being professional, coming out with these public comments. That's the problem I have with it, and that's the same problem I had with Lukaku, just not being professional about this. So look, I don't disagree with Kai. I think Pulisic in this run of games that we have in October is going to be given time. Is going to be given play time.
Agreed.
It's your opportunity, Pulisic, Christian. I'm going to call you by your first name,
Chris.
Christian. It's your opportunity, Chris.
You
It's your
don't need to say Chris.
opportunity to
It's actually
Step
Christopher
up.
Marshall.
Christoph to
Oh,
step
God.
up and prove that you should be in this team, that you should play in this team. Prove that you have something to provide that maybe Sterling can provide, which I find it hard to believe, but it's up to you to do that. So look, we'll see what happens. Anything else that we want to touch upon this game that we didn't touch upon?
I want to end this, and I missed the start. I'm so glad
Go for it.
Conor Gallagher was the one who scored. I know
Yeah.
people don't rate him and everything like that. I'm just glad he scored.
I'm only glad because of now the Mount comparisons. They're gonna be even the backup player has more goals than Mount. That's
I just want to say Mount will never hit a shot like that in his life.
Well, that's the other thing too. Why is Gallagher the guy that
Yeah,
is
mate.
from distance, and he's the only one?
He never did.
Mount, I don't think Mount
Mount
has ever
doesn't
scored a
either.
goal like that. Oh no, against West Ham. I apologise.
Yeah. He did have a good
He had a
hit.
similar
We've
one
actually got
in
plenty of players who
preseason.
can hit. We got plenty of players who can hit a shot like that. They just choose not to, and it frustrates.
Yeah,
me.
and
And I
that's
don't
what I
know
said
why.
earlier.
I'd be more pissed off. I'm actually, that pisses me off more than if they just didn't have it in them. It
Yeah.
pisses me off because I know that there's at least about 5 players in this team that can hit a shot like that, and they choose not to.
Which
Sterling
goal do you
tries
think
it
is
too.
which goal do you think is better? The Auba one or the Gallagher one? Technique wise.
The Gallagher,
Auba,
just because of
Auba.
distance.
No, I think
Uh,
Auba one.
technique.
Auba one.
I think the
Okay,
other one
okay.
might be harder to
Aubameyang's
do
better
because of technique.
Yeah, yeah.
And it goes to the fact, like,
And they
you're
were both
1-1,
great.
you're 1-1, and
Yeah,
like,
I
they're
you're
both
rewatched that
good.
Aubameyang goal like maybe 12 times. I'm not even gonna lie. Man.
I-
I'm not lying, man. I swear to God, it was so
You
good.
got the 10-inch stick out of that
like,
one. But
actually
okay.
taking that shot from like that far out near the end and then pulling it off is more special to me, like doing stuff like that. So, but like technique, Aubameyang's is like better technique. Like it's not easy to do that.
And the other thing I do want to point out to what Ryan mentioned when he was here, Carlito. I like that Fofana knew he made that mistake in
I'm gonna call
for
you
the first
Marshallito,
goal,
man.
and he stepped up for the rest of the game, and that's the mentality that I want to see for the rest of the team, not just Fofana, not just Thiago Silva, not just Jorginho. If we're down a goal or if you're having a bad performance next game or whatever, step up and prove that you can amend those mistakes. But ladies and gentlemen, smash the like button, smash the icons. You already know what to do. We'll see you again on tomorrow for Casually FC to talk about all the shit that's been happening this week when it comes to Chelsea and Cuckoo, Chalaba debates and all that stuff. Plenty of stuff to talk about, and we'll catch you again tomorrow. Peace.